What's up, you guys? Today I'm going to teach you how to play slide. The slide can be a very tricky additional instrument, if you will, or a tool to play guitar, because what you're doing is you're basically using a foreign object to play something you used to use, and now you're already probably getting accustomed to using your fingers. Now it's this whole new object. And you might have noticed that things don't quite sound the same as when they are being played as say with your first finger. What's going on there, right? I'm going to answer all those questions and more right now. Alright, so I'm playing slide. I'm in OpenG Tuning, by the way. If you don't know how to get there, go ahead and click that link that's popping up right now. I actually did a video on OpenG Tuning. So once you're there, what I want you to do is I want you to grab a slide, okay? Now, any slide will do. It can be a brass slide or a glass slide. Those are the major two different slides. The brass slide is going to clang a little bit more, have a bit of a more raw, rougher feel. And then the glass slide that I have here is actually going to be a little bit smoother and silkier. This lesson will work for either one. I just happen to be using a glass slide. I also happen to be using a fitted glass slide. It fits perfectly on my pinky. It's really comfortable here. It's not leaving, right? Most slides will be a little bit too big for someone's hands, and so I would highly recommend getting a fitted slide if you really want to take this to the next level. You have way more control. Okay, so anyways, now that we got that out of the way, what I want you to know is that essentially, whenever you fret something, let's say, like I was using the example of the 3rd fret, I play the 3rd fret on, in this case, the G string, right? And that's my note. And what's cool is I can go back here, anywhere in this zone, and it's the same note. That's because what's really happening is the note is not coming from my finger. It's actually coming from this bar. This bar is actually the fret, not that space that we keep calling the fret, right? That's not the 3rd fret. That's technically your 3rd fret. We just have to play behind it to make sure that note holds here on my actual bar or fret. So that means the note comes from there. That means when we play with our slide, we've got to actually not play back here. Right? Now it's too flat. We have to bring it right over that actual bar. I'm going to try and move this out of the way so you can see it. So work on getting that lined up right with the bar, not back here. You can always test it by playing. And it should be the same pitch. You can even use a little tuner on the end of your guitar to verify if your pitch is accurate. It should be right in the middle. Okay? Awesome. So that is the trickiest part of getting used to the slide, is playing up on the actual bar or fret instead of where you're used to, which is back here. So that's the biggest kind of language barrier, if you will, for most guitar players when they get the slide in their hands. Now, there's different ways of playing the slide. You can use your 3rd finger. You can use your 4th finger. I find it more advantageous to use my 4th finger because now I can play other, notes and chords. Basically, it gives me that freedom to do either one. Okay, you don't have to, but for me, I like that flexibility. Either one's fine. You might find it easier using your 3rd finger, but the 4th finger, although it will take a little bit more time, because who likes to play with their 4th finger, right? It does give you the accessibility. And what you can do to give it more control, you might find yourself feeling a little out of control, right? Well, I want you to bring those fingers together. That's going to help a lot. And I'm actually going to be kind of with my fingers sliding on the notes or the strings behind my slide. Okay, that gives me a lot more control. Also, these fingers will mute the notes behind the actual slide itself. So that will really help a lot in getting you to sound clean. Another thing that I should mention is, because I'm in OpenG Tuning, that makes it easier to play slide as well. You can definitely play slide with standard tuning, but it's just a lot harder because you get these little, if I play here, like that 3rd fret, these other notes kind of sneak in a little bit, right? And that can be an issue with standard tuning because they won't always line up. Because I'm in open tuning, that is a G chord. If I move it up here, that's a C chord. That's a D chord. So I've already got, all the notes are lined up. So I can go G, C, D, right? In fact, that gives me to my next point. You can basically stick to, if you want to kind of riff around and play something, you've got a nice little bit of, room to play if you're just playing maybe the open, 3rd, 5th, and 7th frets where the bars are. That's kind of nice, right? What this is this is basically a minor 3rd. Right? So it sounds a little bit dark and bluesy, right? You might notice I'm kind of sliding up. That's what the slide's all about, is getting that slide sound. So I'm going to be sliding into my notes if I can help it, because that's why we have a slide, right? You could go, but it doesn't have the magic. You want to slide into it, ease into it. Same thing with the 5th fret. And I can go up to my B here. I'm sorry, not B. I'm thinking the key of E here. This is my D, because I'm in the key of G. I'm in open G. Now I'm on my C. And you can kind of just play with those, and that will always sound good. And then one final tip is you can go up to the 12th fret. And that 12th fret is the same as the open strings. So it's the same G chord. Cool. All right, so a couple more things. If I really was going to teach this lesson 100% proper, I actually probably would have got a custom guitar, and I would have brought my strings way off the fretboard. So as you can see, these are pretty low, and this is not ideal if I really want to play slide guitar. I want those strings to be up, or aka the action to be high. You were probably hearing me, you hear a little bit of that clang, right? Well, that's not all necessary. If I had the strings higher, it wouldn't clang so much. You would just hear the purity of the strings or the notes themselves. So that's one extra tip. It's a lot more work, but if you really want to get into slide, get one guitar and just keep it on the side just for your slide stuff, and raise the action a little bit so those strings come off the fretboard. It's going to help you a lot to play and to sound clean. One last thing I could say for playing slide is to, if you want to give vibrato, that can be very difficult. So I'll do it here we'll do it on the 5th fret. Right, so I'm just playing these middle strings here. I get up to it, and then I can kind of go back and forth. So I'm going back and then back up, back up. I'm not doing each way. I'm not going like that. I'm actually going back and then just back to my point, my bar here. Watch. Sounds kind of lame when it's slow, but when it's fast. So it's all about going back and then back to your goal, not both ways. That's the common mistake for vibrato. Thanks so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share. And I'll see you in the next one.